Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another Mindset Check call. I have Lindsay Dunlap on the call today. Lindsay, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
It's great to have you back on. You were one of the first participants, or actually guests, I should say, on the podcast when we started it maybe like 2 years ago. I'm so happy to have you back on to do this mindset check call. It's kind of been a passion of mine the last couple of months as it's been growing, and really want to find out about what you do, kind of what your mindset is every day. How do you prepare? How do you shift if you hit a bump on the road? I want to just start off by saying thanks for being on. And one of the things that we talked about back then, I remember actually, and you said, why not me? I'm kind of jumping the gun here because I wanted to dive in this in a little bit, but why not me? Bringing it back full circle. And we're talking about living in the possibilities with you today, Lindsay. So thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about how the whole why not me, and how you've been asking yourself that question. I think it actually came up with your parents, right? Or your dad said something to you and you were like, hey, why not me? Or something like that. Refresh my
Well, yeah,
memory
it
if you could.
started, so it started as a child. My dad was very instrumental in my later, success, but he told me as a kid, do you want to be the boss? Do you want to have a boss? Whatever you want to do is possible. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. And having someone that has that faith in you is huge as a kid. And it was actually as an adult that my coworker basically told me, well, you could never do that, or you could never do real estate. It's so tough out there. We don't, it's not as easy as it looks. And I thought, don't tell me I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what drove me to get into real estate. It was almost to prove this girl wrong. Like, of course I can. I can do anything I put my mind to. I just dove right in. I mean, I didn't even really put my toes in the water. And I kept her in the back of my mind, not from a bad place, but I took a look at all the successful real estate agents at the time, and I thought, well, what's the difference between them and me? Obviously, it's experience, but why not me? Why
Right.
can't it be me? Okay, well, you got to go out and get it. You got to get after it. In my opinion, the people who are at the top just simply went after it, and they were willing to put in the work.
Yeah, and like you said, they believed in themselves, right? So the question that you pose, and that question is so powerful, but that opens the door, right? That allows you to be in that space of possibility. Now, what kind of gets you through the door and keeps you going is that belief, that internal belief in yourself. And I think, and just, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your dad having anchored that belief in you early on really helped solidify that belief.
Absolutely.
And that's powerful. So
Absolutely.
you almost like, I actually had another podcast about Evander Holyfield, who he talked about a story he had with Tony Robbins, where somebody at the gym, when he was working out as a kid, I think he was like early teens, he was working out, and one of the trainers comes up to him and he's like, hey, you can actually be the next heavyweight champion of the world. He's like, I can train you. And Evander Holyfield was like, okay, I just got to ask my mom. And so he goes home, he runs home, and he's like, Mom, there's this trainer who thinks I can do it, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay. And then so he goes back to the trainer. He's like, all right, my mom said I can, so I can be the next heavyweight champion of the world. And I bring that up just because the power of somebody believing in you, especially coming from a parent, it's powerful.
It is. And I think some people feel like they need permission to either
Mm-hmm.
be successful or to go after it. Give yourself permission.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe you don't have parents, maybe they've passed on, or maybe they weren't in your life, give yourself permission to accept success, or to accept that your hard work is going to pay off. I was telling you, I think through text, that in the last couple of years I have experienced a lot of loss. It's sort of shifted my mindset to a follow-up question, which is, what is your why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to be successful, and who do you want to be and it doesn't need to be real estate, but just in general, because when people really discover what it is that they're after, maybe it's not number one. Maybe they don't want to be the very best, because that definitely comes with a lot of sacrifice and not much life balance.
Right.
So maybe you want to be an active parent. Maybe you want to extend your family and also be successful in real estate. How do you define your success? And for me, I don't define my success by my production. I never look at numbers. I can remember maybe 2 years ago, my manager, Melanie Fontana, asked me what my sales were the previous year. How many units? What was your production? What was the commission? And I had no clue. And she just was so baffled. Why don't you look, you should know these things. I said, why would I need to memorize those numbers or look back on those numbers? I'm looking forward. I'm
Right.
focused on the future. And maybe I did make some good money, but that doesn't define me. It's, did I have enough vacations with the family? Did I attend all the soccer games? I mean, you have to kind of figure out, who do you want to be?
Right.
And so it's, am I capable?
Right. And that's great that you have those people in your corner like Melanie, because having support around you is great, on the business side and at home. I know that you have, a great support system at home, and you have a great family. Can you talk, obviously be as vulnerable as you want. Talk about how those losses that you've experienced, how have you been able to not get past them in a sense of forgetting them, but maybe how have you turned those experiences into healing moments for you, where then you can turn around and create more impact, for your family, especially your girls?
So in the last 2 years, I lost both of my in-laws. My husband's mother and father both passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
Meanwhile, thank you. Meanwhile, my father had passed away in 2013, and we recently found out that my mother has breast cancer.
Mm,
And
geez.
and so it's just been a heavy time.
Yes.
What I've taught my children is what I'm trying to practice myself, which is, you're going to experience loss in the world, and that's a guarantee. Death is a guarantee. When that happens to us, we can take one of two roads. We can either sulk in it and let it destroy us, go into deep depression, and we've seen it within our own family. Or we can move on with our lives and perform as if they're watching, because we are faith-based. We believe in heaven. In my eyes, our family members that have passed on have front row seats to our lives. So are we going to make them proud, or are we going to be a disappointment? I try to think like that myself, and think about the people who are still living. And so you have to keep moving. You have to keep things going. And even through the tough times, you have to make moments in your life. Moments will come, and you'll either be able to enjoy them and make them, and they'll be instrumental in your life, or you'll miss them. Making sure that those moments happen. And it could be small things. It could be an evening walk with the dog and the family. Really having a little bit of balance, and realizing that life is short, and that we have to make the best of it.
Obviously, pain is real, the suffering is real, the grieving is real. When someone passes, they give us a gift at the same time, which is a gift to remember what's important. Gives us almost like a refresher perspective on what matters, what really matters. And I think every person gives us a unique gift. In your case, I feel, and I'm hearing like, oh, it's about balance. It's about being there for your kids. It's about experiencing life. It's not all about just numbers. Sure, that's an aspect of your life, right? Because you have to pay for school and pay for things, right, for your kids. But living a well-balanced life will create a more fulfilled life, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. My goal has always been to make enough money that I can take care of myself, but then help others give back. I mean, one of my biggest goals, my biggest real estate goals, is to be able to help my mother buy a house, and be able to, not only find her the house, but help pay for the house. And I'm working on it. I'm getting so close, but being able to give back, and maybe it's not a parent or a family member, maybe it's to your community, or being able to feel like you're in a position where you can give freely. To me, that is success.
Yeah. Yeah. Giving back, contributing to people's lives. I know you do that through an event that you do, I think every year, right? Where you create like a
The Night to
prom,
Shine
right?
prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the special needs community. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So
Near and dear to my heart.
tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's every February. Sadly, we were virtual last year, and I'm hoping we'll be in person this coming February. But it's the Friday before Valentine's Day, and it's in partnership with the Tim Tebow Foundation and Trinity Church in Poway. Gosh, the first year we had, I think, like 600 guests. It's just a moment for anyone with special needs of any scale, any age. Well, it has to be 14 and up. I should say that. 14 and older, to have a moment to have their prom where they don't feel judged, where they feel comfortable. Maybe they never got to go to their prom, and it's a moment where they're king or queen of the prom, and they're crowned. They get a limo ride to the prom, boutonnieres, corsages, dancing. Chick-fil-A hosts the event as well and donates dinner. I mean, it's just
Yes.
it's an incredible event. Definitely the best party I've ever been to is the Night to Shine prom. We could just let it all out on the dance floor, but it's a special night, and the impact that it has not only on the guests, but on their families, you can't even describe it.
Yeah,
It's magic.
I watch you do, you kind of document it a little bit with your social media, and then I know you have some videos that come out with it. So I know it's so special to you. I love that you do that. It speaks volumes of who you are. And obviously
Oh,
you're
thanks.
feeling there's a reward there in a sense of you're feeling fulfilled and you're contributing. And I think that's life, right? That's where we can find that fulfillment, is when we contribute to others, when we contribute to the lives of others in one way or another. But I also look back at what you said earlier about your mom, and then that's awesome. It's another way that you're trying to give and contribute to somebody else's life. Thank you so much for sharing, being vulnerable, because I think,
I'm an open book.
and that's the point of this call. It's, for me especially, the reason I started it was because I think I was hiding behind, trying to have this perfect way of existing, and it's messy, right? It's not always the way you want it to be. So how do you maneuver through those messy points to get you back to that balanced life that you were talking about? So I went off on a tangent there, but when you're going through your day, real quick, how do you find that space again? Whether it's your faith, whether it's techniques, or whether it's looking at your big why, how do you recalibrate so you can find that balance and then, find that fulfillment, be on purpose, be intentional at home and at work?
Well, part of real estate is that you can be as organized and prepared as possible. You can wake up early, make a list of all the things you need to do, and just like clockwork, it's going to be derailed by like 9 a.m. You get that phone call that says someone wants to meet you, and you drop everything you're doing and you get out there, or the perfect house comes on the market. So everything can shift so quickly in our business. There's definitely some ups and downs. I would say having someone to vent to or bounce things off of that are not your family members. I mean, thank God it's not my husband, because then we wouldn't probably get along as well. But, I have Melanie Fitzgerald on my team, and Mackenzie C, but I'll call Melanie several times a day, and just, she helps me regroup. She helps me to stay on track, and I do the same for her. I mean, having a support system in real estate is huge. And maybe you don't have a team, maybe you're a single agent. You should still have those colleagues that you can talk shop with to help you get back on track. It's like falling down and someone, giving you the hand to help you back up. It's crucial. And, life isn't meant to be alone. And I think some people can kind of work from home, be antisocial. Those typically are not some of the top agents. Some of the
Sure.
top agents have that support system, have those, maybe it's not a team, but maybe they go into the office. They talk to other people. They have a close relationship with their manager. I think that's critical to stay on track.
Yeah, support system both at home and at work. Well, everything that you do, right, fortunately and unfortunately, is being absorbed by your girls, right, your kids. So
Yep.
I always bring it back to the kids because I'm still learning. I'm a student at this. So I'm just curious, is there anything that you are instilling in your kids? Like, don't forget, every morning you're like, hey, don't forget. Or maybe it's a prayer. Or is there something that comes to mind when I ask you, like, what are you teaching your kids?
I try to mirror how I am in real estate along with being a parent at home. I mean, some of the same ways that I am with my kids, it really helps me to bring over to business. And that's, things like, being an example, being patient, showing kindness, even when it's not deserved. Living like someone's always watching. That helps in real estate. You just assume
Right.
you're being videoed
Right.
or recorded, and you'll be on your game. The same thing at home. I mean, these kids, they watch you, and sometimes you don't think they're listening, but they definitely are. So showing compassion, showing respect at all times, making time, setting expectations, being honest, transparent, and just helping them to understand how powerful character is.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge. My youngest, Brooklyn, her school motto is character counts. And I think about that all the time. I think that in life and in business, you're not going to win every battle, and you just have to know, how to choose those battles wisely, and how to just be kind and get through them.
Right, and that's like parenting too, right? You're not always gonna win every battle. You just gotta choose. And
Absolutely.
pick the ones that you can. Well, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. The biggest takeaway for me, and really it was an aha moment, why not me? I specifically remember you saying that on the podcast. And I was like, even if you say it to yourself right now, like people who are watching, listening, like say it to yourself right now. Like if you're thinking about something and you want to achieve this, or you want to, whatever it is, and you see other people doing it or having it, experiencing it, ask yourself, like, why not you? Why not me? And when you do that, I think it just almost like frees you. When I heard you say it, it was this almost like this stress was, or this tension was just obliterated. It's like, wow, the question is powerful. Why not me? Like, why can I
Right.
not do it? Like, what makes that person so much more special? Also, with that comes humility. When you say, why not me? What you're saying is we're all, here, and we all have the opportunity. I'm not more special than somebody else, and vice versa. We all have that opportunity. Now, do we have more access depending on where you live? Sure. But the opportunity still exists there. And so when you said that, I was like, man, that's powerful. And then you brought it up again today, and I was just like, thank you so much for reminding me. So if you're out
And
there,
who told you no? Who told you?
right?
Who told you you couldn't?
I bet
Well,
you it's you, right? It's your own thoughts, right? If you ask yourself, why not
exactly.
you? And you hear somebody saying no, it's more than likely
Give yourself
yourself.
permission.
Mm,
And if you don't have someone in your life, call me and I'll give you permission, because there's enough business for everyone.
mm-hmm.
You just have to be willing to go out and get it.
I love it. Lindsay, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for your
Thanks for having me. I hope to see you soon.
thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. Yes, keep shining, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.